Hello, this is Silke, MTD graduate from 2006. This is my second attempt to create a talking heads for you because the first time it extended quite long and I felt a little lost. So then I thought I'd prepare a little text to have a bit of an overview. So if I sometimes peek, if I get stuck, then you know what it is for. In the end, I know it doesn't matter so much what you say, it's more important to show up and say hello. So I just do my best sharing a little bit about what happened with me and my experience in Amsterdam and afterwards related to the dance studies and life in general. So what did I write? I'm currently recording the video from my current residence, which is Alicante, south of Spain. I moved here in 2016 and my main motivation was to get out of the rain into the sun. For that, actually, I first tried to migrate to Australia, but that didn't work out. So it turned out to bring me to Alicante. And yeah, well, let's go back first to the dance studies I done in Amsterdam. I was very happy that I could continue my studies. I actually started in Frankfurt in 2001 in the Hochschule für Musik und Darstellende Kunst. And after 2 years, I shifted to Amsterdam and I liked it a lot better because it seemed much more open-minded and a greater variety of teachers. The fellow students were very outspoken, they expressed their minds, and so that was really great that you could feel that people that were dancing were not just like performing bodies, but they were also personalities, and I really enjoyed that, and it helped me also develop that part of myself to not see myself just an object or a useful object or a functioning thing in our society, which I think is a great motivation anyway to go into the arts to go beyond that kind of sense. What I also really loved were the pianists that they were playing live for all the classes, and I remember the ballet teacher Margriet that were teaching me to think quite positive, even though I was often very disciplined, hardworking on my technique, and I still am because I love working on movement technique, and it's just great to discipline the body and work on the symmetries and finding the efficiency and putting good alignment and finding a great balance between strength and flexibility. Well, anyway, I had a lot of critical ballet teachers in my life, but I remember Margriet repeatedly saying hartstikke goed, and if I can do it, you can do it, and she was a really great motivational teacher. And I remember the live pianists that was such a fortune to have them play for the class and enjoy that music, very good music. And during the pandemic, I've been also training online with the Dutch National Ballet and hearing the pianist play again, which was super great. But also I really also enjoyed the live drum for the contemporary. That's even more rare to find in other places afterwards. I liked also that in Amsterdam, because of the great variety of teachers and departments, and maybe because there was much more outspoken personality, and I thought everything was a bit more fair. If one person did not really quite believe in you, then there was another person that maybe did. And so you realize that it's not just depending on one person's opinion. Generally, I think I've read a lot my mind about how art has to be in a particular way, or how you need to be formatted to make it into the professional world. I think it's not like this. I think it's much more about believing in yourself and knowing you have something to say and to share, and then knowing how to communicate that and place that and structure that. And it's actually great that we have such a huge amount of variety And so in the end, I don't even think that you always have to study, but it's great to have the time to study, to have this amazing possibility to learn with other people from many different teachers, and to have the time dedicated just to focus on your studies and move and research, think things in different ways, approach them from this corner and from that corner. That's really great. And I kept exploring around after I finished studying. I kept training in Stichting, and I trained with different companies, often periods of times with Scapino, sometimes with Christina de Châtel. In Australia, I was visiting Chunky Moves, and I was training for a bit with the Australian Dance Theatre, and it was really great that you could just go. And sometimes you go to the other side of the world, like Australia, and then you meet another person you met in an audition in the Netherlands, and like, oh, you're here, also, this is great. So in some way, it's also really, you are connected with a family, as it's still a limited amount of people that do this kind of particular work. And it was great to have that entrance to this world in this way. And I kept scanning around, and I was also, when I was in the Netherlands, I was creating independent work, and at times I was working with other people, collaborating. Really loved some BIMHEIS project improvisation events. That was great. But I also made performances where I was picking carefully a subject, mostly social philosophical subjects that I was researching on, which I love a lot to research and put that kind of in abstract dance performance. And I also, later on, I was creating a group, which was fantastic. I really loved the group that I created. But at the same time, in 2011, when there came the economic crisis, it was all closing down, as Meidaport Theater was starting to support me a lot, but then they could not support me so much anymore. They had to reduce a lot, and I was like, that was actually the time when I started Australia. Sorry, it's not so logical how I put it together. Yeah, and there was something else that I wanted to say. It's already very long. Yeah, when I was in Australia, I also met an Australian dancer. Her name is Alicia Minhavi, and we done project work together over there. And she also came to the Netherlands to continue the project work. And I was nearly about to meet Vivian in Australia, but in the end we didn't make it. Yeah, so then I was going a bit back and forth between Australia and Netherlands when I was doing that, and that was already uprooting me a bit, and I was searching. And because I was already in the Netherlands, I was feeling a bit overwhelmed by the pressure of working very much and trying to keep my creative work going. And I felt very exhausted, actually, because I'd done part-time jobs to earn some money because the art didn't pay, and doing a lot of massages, starting as a kind of career as a masseuse, and then adding the yoga classes because I was injured and I couldn't go for ballet training and work on the high level that I was desiring to. And so it kind of pulled me into the yoga and give more attention to mindfulness and consciousness. And that became a standing leg somehow, because this paid me and it was still related to physical work and body work. And it relaxed my mind from all these artistic ambitions that I had in my mind, that also made it difficult to be satisfied once I actually brought something out. And yeah, I think I needed to purify something in my mind to make peace with all this, you know, the old criticism that is so trained in Germans and supported by institutions, and to switch it all more to coaching and progressive work and optimism, and yeah, being much more practical with all the mental feedback one gives to oneself. Anyway, so, and I'm still working mainly with yoga. I expanded into acro yoga to make it even more exciting and playful and interactive. And yeah, now I try to still create a bit more creative projects in Alicante, which has been difficult to arrive here as well, because it's in the end was even harder to make enough money for a living. Keep dropping back into this task. But anyway, I'm very happy to have made that step because I'm very close to nature here, and I'm meeting lovely people, and I have a lot of time for meditation as well, and making up my mind what is really important and what I really want to do, especially since the COVID. And yeah, I'm still wanting to be relating to art, and I'm appreciating to do all these physical works and researches. And yeah, it would be really lovely to see you next year. But I must say, because I'm very ambitious with many different things, and I don't know exactly if I can fiddle it into bigger plans, or I try. But the COVID makes it a bit more complicated because I'm still not vaccinated. And yeah, but I will. It's a very inspirational idea to come and meet you all there and share some creative sparks, and I hope I'll make it. And now I've talked already far too long, but as we are creators, we should probably be tolerant about it, and so I just accept it for that. And hope to see you. Bye bye.